In the Pokemon manga, the battles are much more brutal and threaten the life of both trainer and Pokemon. Legendary Pokemon can obliterate entire regions off the face of the earth. This also applies to the criminal organizations like Team Rocket, who casually commit crimes like murder or domestic terrorism in broad daylight. Because of these much harsher circumstances, becoming a trainer capable of being the Pokemon League champion requires intense fighting spirit and a willingness to take on every Pokemon battle, in despite of the fact it may very well be a battle to the death. This world shaped legendary characters like Red or Blue into battle-hardened warriors who were able to endure challenges no trainer in either the Pokemon anime or video games ever have before. And since I've already talked about both of them in detail, there's still one more Pokemon Master from Kanto that completes that region's Pokédex trio. It would just be wrong to move on from this series without talking about the Pokemon manga's best girl, especially since she might be the biggest smoke demon of the entire trio. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments if you want me to keep making these types of videos. There's plenty more Dex holders to talk about. But first, this video is sponsored by me. I don't need to give you guys the full spiel. You already know I'm a full-time content creator and I need to keep the lights on. If you enjoy my content and want to keep seeing more of it, please consider showing your support by becoming a member of the channel. $1 is all it takes to be a member, and it gets you instant access to the community Discord where we all hang out and keep discussions going after lives or uploads. And if you join the $5 tier, you also get access to exclusive streams on Wednesdays. Also, if you want more anime manga content in general, just check out my second channel where I cover all the weekly series you may or may not read, as well as post and stream extra content like tier lists and other fun stuff. I'll also have a third channel, annoying, I know, but this is where all the gameplay and stream highlights are going to go for the future in case you missed something. So just know that I love you guys and I appreciate all the support you give. Let's get back to the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll agree when we're done, I saved the best Kanto trainer for last. Green, otherwise known as Blue in the Japanese version of the manga, confusing, I know, is the third and final Dex holder of the original Kanto region trio, and the owner of Professor Oak's last starter Pokemon, Squirtle. Owner is in quotation marks, since technically she flat out stole Squirtle's Pokeball from Oak's lab. But before we can even cover that part of Green's story, the origins of her trainer career actually began extremely differently compared to her rivals. At the age of 5 years old, the Pallet Town native was actually kidnapped by the legendary bird Ho-Oh and indoctrinated into an underground Pokemon training cult led by someone only known as the Masked Man. For the next couple of years, Green would be forced to endure brutal training methods with another kidnapped child, later confirmed to be Silver, and in this process, Green would become specialized in the category of Pokemon evolution, a talent she carries with her across the series by being an expert on all types of evolutionary lines and conditions, to the point that Green even specifically waits until the best possible time in battle to evolve her Pokemon, not only ensuring they gain extra vital experience and techniques while remaining in their base forms, but completely turning the tables on her opponents when they least expect it. Sometime before the main story, both Green and Silver managed to escape from the Masked Man's facility, something that should come off as impressive considering the complex security and multiple guards that stood in the two's way, both of them being extremely young children at this point. But with them having no homes to return to after this, they had to learn how to survive on their own, eventually splitting off and going their separate ways. Due to this rough upbringing, naturally, Green became a child who needed to resort to thievery and deceiving others to get by, resulting in Green lacking a large amount of morality compared to other characters, but also making her an extremely cunning and resourceful individual. The first time Green actually meets Red, it's in an attempt to sell him counterfeit battle items that would supposedly greatly benefit him. Red seems hesitant at first, but Green instantly starts flirting with him and pretending to be upset that he won't buy her items, which obviously works on the 11-year-old boy who just started puberty. And when Red goes to confront Green on the scam, he finds her already putting the moves on some other people trying to steal their money. But Green is clearly no stranger to a fast getaway because she instantly makes a run for it. Now, Red was able to have his Snorlax capture and corner her, so what does Green do after getting caught scamming Red for all of his money? Well, obviously, latching on to Red like an obsessed stalker and saying she only sold it to him because she missed him so much. Now, any self-respecting person is immediately seeing through that bullshit. You would think right? Unfortunately for Red, he's not a self-respecting person, he is a pre-teenage boy. One hug is more than enough to make him believe Green again, which gives her the opportunity to hit him with her Wartortle's Bubble Beam. Red dodges, saying he saw that coming a mile away, which is definitely up for debate, but we'll let Red have that for now. Not only does Green survive this insane overreaction though, she manages to trick the trainer again by pickpocketing Red's 2 badges while they were hugging, making off like a bandit with no trace left behind. This kind of behavior from Green is more than common, and the girl is very capable of deceiving people, much smarter and less simpy than Red as well, even against more experienced trainers like Team Rocket grunts, as when she's completely surrounded and attacked by multiple of them at once, Green's Wartortle is casually able to duck and dodge attacks from higher level Pokemon like Machamp or Hitmonlee, even maneuvering around the opponent's attacks to make them run into each other and do damage. But she also knows when she's outmatched or needs to change up her strategy, such as when Team Rocket reveals a Tauros with the special ability to control all of the Pokemon against Green at once. Green immediately switches her overwhelmed Wartortle to a better matchup. And this choice here that Green makes is exactly where we see the difference between a brute force trainer like Red and someone that has a much more tactical mind like Green. Because the Pokemon Green chooses to swap out to is Ditto, making both the Team Rocket grunts and Red think Green stands no chance and has made a terrible decision. But no one on that battlefield was seeing the opportunity that Green created, and by instantly adapting to Red showing up and using that as a distraction, she's able to make Team Rocket look the other way and not realize the Tauros that climbed back up the mountain and began controlling the Pokemon horde was actually Green's Ditto, who had transformed and immediately mimicked the Team Rocket's Tauros' ability after only seeing it used once. Throughout the story of Kanto, and even later on in other regions, Green proves herself as just as much of a powerful Pokemon Master as her rivals Red and Blue, like them being able to take down some of the strongest trainers in the generation, such as when she defeats one of Team Rocket's top executives in the Silphco building. Entering the company's offices from the back entrance, Green is surprised to find a haunted temple domain expansion inside one of Silphco's conference rooms, when suddenly Green's under attack by the evil psychic gym leader Sabrina and her Kadabra's illusions. Green instantly tosses out her strongest Pokemon, Blastoise, choosing not to underestimate her opponent. However, Sabrina is effortlessly able to collaborate with her Kadabra's teleport and psychic abilities that knock all of Green's Pokeballs out of reach while Kadabra restrains Green from moving. Kadabra effortlessly disables Green's Blastoise's attacks and even punches a hole right through the Pokemon shell. Sabrina laughs at Green after casually one-shotting her strongest Pokemon, but Green decides it's time to end the facade, kicking one of her scattered Pokeballs into the air and surprisingly revealing the real Blastoise from its containment, once again exposing that the injured one was Ditto in disguise. And now that Green's released from Kadabra's psychic trap, she takes the opportunity to announce another one of her Pokemon's arrival, Horsey, clouding the entire arena in smokescreen to blind the gym leader. And now with the tables turned, Green smirks from behind her Silph Scope, mocking Sabrina as she looks flustered now that she's no longer in control. Green was matched with the perfect opponent though, as Sabrina is able to use her innate psychic talent to read the area with her mind's eye and telepathically direct her Kadabra exactly where to aim, disable Horsey's smokescreen and put Green back in restraint. Kadabra's spoon to Green's neck. Green just laughs, saying it's obvious Sabrina would win when Sabrina clearly prioritizes strength over being pretty, which is just diabolical work and enough of a petty remark to make Sabrina command Kadabra to just attack rather than launch a finishing blow. Exactly what Green was hoping for, throwing her chest in the way of Kadabra's smack, which reveals 2 secret Pokeballs that she had stashed inside of her bra. Green's Clefairy and Jigglypuff instantly come out and launch a combination attack of Growl and Sing, the disorientating and debuffing song scattering Sabrina and Kadabra's minds to the point they can no longer maintain their illusions. And Green, understanding it's probably better to just escape the domain for now, dips out of the conference room, but not before yoinking Sabrina's Marsh badge on her way out. Thanks to this cunning ability to manipulate her enemies, as well as naturally think outside of the box, Green is easily able to rise up to a trainer on the level of competing in the Pokemon League. Had it not been for Professor Oak joining the Indigo League in order to teach Green a lesson for stealing things, also the fact that he took advantage of Green's phobia towards bird Pokemon, Green probably would have made it all the way to the finals and ended up facing Red to become champion. Speaking of Green's ornithophobia, it's probably her only weakness as a character. Stemming from that tragic upbringing Green was forced to endure, one of the only things she might actually be afraid of in in the world is bird Pokemon, but like the demon she is, Green realized she would never evolve and become the best version of herself if she kept letting this fear conquer her. As shown in the final battle against the masked man, Green finally joins the fight with the other Dex holders, getting into a 1v2 battle against Johto's Elite Four, Will and Karen, revealing that they too were former members of the masked cult, using their knowledge of Green's trauma to use their respective bird types and gain an advantage over her, deeming Green a traitor for abandoning them, and even calling down the actual Ho-Oh itself to put the fear of God into Green. But despite putting on an act like she was still terrified, much to her former cult member's shock, Green doesn't buckle an inch, standing firm and smiling as Ho-Oh passes her, revealing the reason Green disappeared after the Indigo League was in search of her own enlightenment. And after overcoming all of her fears, weaknesses, and flaws, Green decides to prove Will and Karen wrong by unveiling her ultimate trump card, the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, that Green single-handedly managed to tame and capture all by herself, using all 3 birds in tandem with her rivals Red and Blue to fight on par with both Lugia and Ho-Oh at the same time. And this isn't even the only time Green casually outplays an Elite Four level trainer, as she hands a defeat just as easily to Lorelei of Kanto's Elite Four. This time though, Green was partnered up with Sabrina, and both of them were shackled together at the wrist by Lorelei's Jinx and its special Ice Voodoo ability. Because of its unique conditions, if the ice cuffs or the dolls made in Green or Sabrina's image are shattered, the 2 trainers themselves will actually suffer any real consequences of damage done. And while this situation is heavily pushed into Lorelei's favor, she uses her Cloyster's Withdrawal as well as her Slowbro's Amnesia attacks to easily deflect and break down any strategy that Sabrina comes up with. And because Lorelei started the battle targeting Green at first, she was knocked unconscious and left Sabrina to fight on her own. And once victory is about to fall into Lorelei's hands, her Jinx smacking the 2 trainers off the cliff and into the abyss below, that's exactly when Green seizes her opportunity. Blastoise releasing from its Pokeball and launching everyone back into the air with a Hydro Pump aimed downwards to simulate flight. Knowing before the battle began that Lorelei would probably target her first, Green merely pretended to be unconscious so she'd be written off as a threat. Lorelei thinks Green seems a bit cocky, but she admits it's because Green has already won, using the conversation to buy time while her Clefable used Minimize and stole Jinx's Ice Dolls, snapping the connection between Sabrina and Green by the wrist, cutting off her own arm to separate the 2. Her sacrifice was the plan from the very beginning, seemingly passing out from the shock. Caught off guard and a bit shaken up, Lorelei awkwardly declares her victory, believing the battle to finally be won. This activates Green's trap card, as her severed arm, conveniently located right behind Lorelei, begins to contort and expand, a pink tentacle launching from it and wrapping solid matter around Lorelei and her Jinx, revealing itself to have been Green's Ditto the entire time. Green reveals she hid her real arm inside of a coat jacket sleeve upon entering the arena, suspecting foul play on Lorelei's part. And as the Elite Four member loses consciousness, she congratulates Green on her win, to which Green simultaneously acknowledges Lorelei's strength as well, depicting the huge amount of character growth that she has gone through since her first journey with Red. Compared to her 2 other Kanto rivals, Green is definitely a one-of-a-kind trainer. And while her team may be nowhere near as diverse when it comes to typing or moveset, Green's versatility in battle is frankly unmatched despite that. Green's very first Pokemon, like her rivals, technically wasn't her starter Pokemon, as even as far back as her days in the Masked Man's training cult, Green's partner, Jiggly the Jigglypuff, was by her side. This Pokemon was the main reason Green and Silver were able to evade capture when running from the Masked Man's lair by inflating itself and cutting off their escape route from behind from the guards. And during the Pokemon League, Jiggly was powerful enough on its own to one-shot every challenger Green was matched with. After evolving into Wigglytuff in the Fire Red and Leaf Green, it's strong enough to contend with legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo or Deoxys. There's also Clefairy, the Clefable, who after evolving is able to use its Metronome ability to just completely overwhelm Thufizer with a string of random attacks. For clarification of those who don't know, Thufizer is essentially a polymerization of the 3 Kanto legendary birds, implying it is at least 3 times more powerful than the island-dominating elemental birds themselves. There's also Green's Ditto, which which is an extremely instrumental Pokemon, not necessarily for direct combat, but as an amazing asset in support, being able to swiftly disguise itself to throw off enemies by either transforming into other Pokemon, or it can even be used as a mask for Green to wear in order to hide herself in plain sight, allowing Green to impersonate others, such as when she tricks Red into thinking she's Sabrina, and Ditto can even perform roundabout shapeshifting, like turning itself into a defensive umbrella that was able to protect Green from multiple of Deoxys's attacks. Blasty the Blastoise is Green's respective starter, and despite being stolen goods, trusts and loves its owner more than anything at all. Besides teaching Blastoise to fly with its Hydro Pump cannons, Green was able to train Blastoise to learn the ultimate water move, Hydro Cannon, even faster than both Red and Blue managed to learn their starters' respective ultimates. Revealing by the time of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, she has acquired a Mega Stone and can have Blasty Mega evolve into Mega Blastoise, effortlessly proving its dominance in battle over other regions' villains such as Aqua Leader Archie and Magma Leader Maxie. The final members of Green's team consist of Nido, the Nido Queen, who is capable of being used against Lorelei of the Elite Four as Nidorina, and Green's Granbull that she used to hold off attacks from Will's Xatu and Karen's Umbreon as just a Snubbull. Green also has Pokemon for more practical use like Green's Abra to teleport Silver across the Johto region, or Green's Horsey that helps Green out of tight situations with Smokescreen. So with all of that being said, it should be fairly obvious that Green is just as much of a badass, if not more so, than her rivals in the Pokemon manga. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end. No matter what this next video ends up being on the channel, I hope I will see you there watching it. Peace.